Blocking in Guilty Gear Strive has many rules. To start, when a move is blocked, the defender is pushed back. The attacker will remain in place unless the defender is cornered or the roles are reversed. Depending on the strength of the move, the pushback can be low or high. The higher the strength, the higher the pushback. Stand blocking gives higher pushback than crouch blocking, but it is typically not worth doing against grounded block strings because you'll get hit low. It's best to do this when they have no low option left. Projectiles will not push the offender back even if the opponent is cornered. The amount of risk level gained varies by each attack, but generally attacks with a higher attack level build more risk, with overheads and lows building less than mids. Also, characters may have their risk levels increase faster than other characters. When your risk level is between 1 and 50%, you gain 20% more tension for blocking attacks. When it is between 51 and 74%, you gain 50% more tension, and when it is 75% or more, you gain twice as much tension for each blocked attack. When the offender does a consecutive block string or multiple quick staggers like close slash into itself or other buttons, the amount of risk for each follow-up attack is much lower. If the attacks are spaced out more, the risk dealt for each move returns to normal. Instant blocking, or IBing, is done 2 frames before the attack connects. After attempting to IB, you cannot attempt another one until you return to neutral, move up, or press any forward direction for at least 5 consecutive frames. This prevents you from just constantly switching from down back to straight back to easily get IBs. When you successfully do an IB, it will say just on the screen. It is good because it prevents chip damage, it gives 0 knockback for the defender, and you build twice as much tension and increase your tension balance. IBing can also make some moves punishable, either by bringing them into throw range to punish a gap larger than 2 frames, or keeping them in range for a fast attack that would normally not reach. Faultless Defense, or FD, is a metered defensive option. This is done by holding any 2 attack buttons besides dust, or by setting and holding the FD macro and holding back or down back. It drains your tension over time while it is active, but can be released whenever you stop blocking or let go of the button or buttons. While you are holding FD, it prevents you from backdashing. It is good because it prevents chip damage, it prevents the risk level from going up, and the pushback on block is higher. Using FD early can make some characters' later moves whiff, opening up to whiff punishes or neutral resets. You don't need to FD the entire time a block string is happening. It's best to try to time it around the time the attacks would connect so you don't drain more tension than necessary. Instant Block Faultless Defense, or IBFD, is the combination of the 2 defensive techniques I talked about. Ideally, this is the best form of defense for the resources used, however it is quite difficult to do effectively, especially since IBing is already difficult to consistently execute due to the 2-frame window paired with the potential for delayed attacks by your opponent. You get all the benefits of IB and FD, but rather than keeping the reward of removing pushback from the IB, the pushback is greatly increased, making it practically impossible to directly continue pressure. Air blocking raises a character's risk level by 1.5 times that of ground blocking. Air blocking forces the character to be in block stun until landing and then has 19 extra frames of grounded block stun. Air blocking a projectile or recovering from guard crush will not force your character into block stun until they land, but if they land, there will be 5 extra grounded frames of block stun. Air blocking some moves like a 6P or some 2Hs that send you up and away make you have more block stun than normal. Air FDing increases gravity, making you fall faster, which is great for getting opponents away and becoming actionable faster. However, it takes twice as much tension than ground FDing. Air IBing, or IBFDing, changes the landing block stun to 5 frames. The higher up you block an attack, the more block stun you'll have, assuming it's not guard crush or a projectile. Your risk level can get very high very fast if you are fuzzy jumping during stagger pressure, especially if they are staggering with strong buttons like Soul's Far Slash. Higher risk gain plus higher block stun due to the air block sets up stronger offense for the opponent. Pressing 3 attack buttons besides dust, or pressing the RC macro while in block stun triggers the yellow Roman cancel. It costs 50 tension. It forces the opponent into a guard crush state for 43 frames, but leaves you with 10 frames of advantage if it hits them. If it is blocked, it is punishable at -16, and is a counter hit starter, so it must be used wisely. 2Ps recover fast enough to bait and punish YRCs, and jump canceling from 5k or close slash can also lead to punishes. In spots where you know there are frame traps, Backdash BRC can be used to punish heavily. Throw startup is 2 frames, but have a tech window of another 10 frames, so the opponent must input a tech throw within the first 12 frames of a throw. Only normal throws can be teched this way. Most command throws have throw protection, meaning they must be jumped out of or challenged with a button before the startup is complete. On Oki, the throw protection also allows you to mash a 5-frame button if they are doing a meaty throw and still win, but 6-frame buttons or slower will still lose. This throw protection also applies to any non-guard crush block stun. Throws can also be avoided by being airborne or simply moving out of the way, most commonly done with backdash. Common defenses against throw are fuzzy jump and fuzzy throw. In these situations, fuzzy just means delayed. So after blocking a move, that can lead into a throw situation, move from blocking to jumping, then back to blocking, with the timing where you would block the follow-up move, but have the jump input a few frames after the strike would have connected. This way you block the strike and cannot jump due to the block stun, and if they do throw, you will have jumped away. Similarly, fuzzy throw is just doing a delayed throw. Since the tech window is 12 frames, you don't have to try to tech as soon as the throw would have connected, so in a situation with throw, block, then do a delayed throw, then block again. Guard Crush is a unique type of block stun that only a few characters have access to. The only options here are blocking or bursting. Yellow RC is no longer an option. This also removes the auto block, meaning if you stop holding back while in Guard Crush and they do a mid, you will get hit. Getting hit while in Guard Crush block stun changes the combo counter purple, meaning it's an invalid combo because the player could have blocked. This also removes throw protection. When a character is in true block stun, they will automatically block cross-ups unless it is Guard Crush. Burst is performed by pressing dust and any other attack button. It can only be done while your burst gauge is full. It's very useful in multiple situations, but its primary use is to get the opponent away from you either while you are blocking or being comboed. It is invincible starting on the first frame, and since it can be done during neutral, hit stun, or block stun, it can be difficult for the opponent to know when to commit to blocking the burst. Burst is not available while stuck to the wall, being thrown, or being hit by a super. There are two types of bursts, blue burst and gold burst. Blue burst is more common since it is done while blocking or while being hit by the opponent. If it connects, they get launched away, you are plus 11. If it is blocked, you are minus 30, making it extremely punishable. Also, if it successfully hits the opponent, it refills a third of the burst gauge. Gold burst can be done from a neutral state. The major upside to this burst is that you get full tension gauge if it hits them, which can change the momentum of a round very quickly. Typical ways of getting the gold burst to connect are to put yourself into danger by running at your opponent to make them press a button, then being invulnerable and punishing the button with the gold burst. It can also be done on wake up as long as it isn't after a throw knockdown. Some people also like to try to mix up the opponent with gold burst by crossing them up first. If a gold burst is blocked, it leaves them minus 10, which is significantly harder to punish. When blocking, some characters have difficulty ending their turn without using a move that can be hit out of their recovery. Or sometimes players will overcommit to an option that frame traps, expecting to counter-hit a potential counterattack. These moves can be hit for guaranteed punish, assuming that they don't have RC to cancel into, and it is important to learn what each character's punishable options are and what you get as a reward. Dragon Punches or DPs are invulnerable attacks that don't require meter to execute. Only a few characters have this option, but it makes the attacker think more about how and where they choose to leave gaps in their pressure. This is also effective on wake up since most characters do not have a consistently safe way to stop DPs. In this game, DPs are throwable in their startup, so they are not guaranteed to beat every option the attacker has, but with the ability to red RC it on block and on hit, it makes it a very powerful tool. Many characters have an invulnerable super for 50 tension. This can be used while being pressured or on wake up. If you have 100 tension, then it becomes a practically safe way to avoid pressure. Characters with slower reversal supers can cancel the startup of their super with a fast Roman cancel to maintain the invulnerable frames to get through the attacks, and then punish the attacker with another move. After getting knocked down, the most common Oki situation you will face is a meaty strike versus a throw. Remember that you can use the fuzzy options to help cover these two options, and that you can use a 5-frame button to challenge the throws, however this is very risky. Backdash is good since it avoids the meaty strike and the throw, however if they do a slightly delayed strike, you will get air hit leading to much bigger combos than normal. If you show them that you will backdash, you can challenge delayed strikes by doing your own throw. Since it's 2-frame startup, it will beat delayed buttons. Throw and wake up is also good if you don't trust your opponent to get the timing right, especially if it's from knockdowns that are far away. But just keep in mind that if you're wrong, it can lead to a very bad situation. Thank you for watching.